welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining here. And also, I just feel very, very honored and grateful that for whoever shows up, and it's not because of me, it's because that you show up for yourself. So you made a decision, you registered, whatever you made, created the time to be here and do something for yourself. So, and I want to be a little bit also interactive. So I'm going to keep trying to keep track of the Facebook group as well. So I would love to hear where you are from, either through Zoom or either through the Facebook group live. So yeah, feel free to use the chat, and yeah, feel free to stay free to stay muted for through the class, unless you have any urgent questions, but we can get to questions towards the end. And then, yeah, if you type into the chat where you're from in your name, that would be wonderful just to see, because we do have people registered pretty much from all over the world. So that would be also very nice to see. And then we'll have more and more people dropping in. So, and then I'm also going to start sharing my screen as we see. Yes, that's where we are at. Okay. There, and I move this away. And yeah, so anytime you have a question or anything, feel free to drop in to the chat. And so welcome again, whoever is here currently or gonna join us later, or maybe you're just gonna come through the replay. That is all great. And because we are going to have a replay for that. So create a confident, healthy you in 2022. This is our topic today. And so this is all about how to transform your health, your body confidence, and how to rewire your mindset and find an emotional balance. So technically all aspects and all levels, all elements we're gonna talk through and work through. Also, before I forget, get a pen and paper ready, because that's gonna be a load of information. So it will be pretty beneficial if you could make some notes. But as I promised, also for the Zoom people who registered, I'm gonna drop into the chat at the end. If you stay till the end, a little gift that will give you a really nice summary, a little cheat sheet. I call that a cheat sheet. But yeah, just it's good to make notes. And also I'm gonna have some questions, so we'll be a little bit interactive. So then you can reflect back on your own particular maybe challenges or whatever comes up for you. And so the whole purpose of the course, and also finding these alignments, health alignments and the confidence and the emotional balance and all that, to be able to live our purpose and our full potential. And I'll share so much about that, how those things are related, like very directly related, and how can one affect the other, vice versa. And I'll share my story as well through that. But before we jump on anything and I share deeper or more information, it's I have to share that liability and also that in the presentation that this training is only information on educational purposes only. So it's not intended to be a substitute for any professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So please, anything that you hear here, regardless of, regarding of lifestyle change or diet, any kind of information, please consult with your healthcare professional. So I have to say that, then it is important. So let's see if we can jump to our first slide here. Let's move this. Maybe you don't see that little window there, but it is blocking my view. I hope it doesn't cover the picture. So, and as I welcomed you here, I don't know all of you, who come through or watch the replays and all that. Or where you're coming from, I'm not necessarily, I don't necessarily know, but I pretty much know why you're here. And one of the big reasons is because your body is designed to be healthy. And it might sound a little controversial for some of you who are here with health struggles, but I share in a minute how those are connected. And but that could be one reason, because you don't necessarily feel that is true. Or maybe you know that is true, but it doesn't seem to be that way in your life now. And then you can have the question that, okay, then if that's true, then why we are here? And there are some more official answers to that I'm going to share. I'm not going to dive into them very much, but I'm just going to share a few info that could be behind it, why you don't feel that alignment with your health. And one is that is very overwhelming, that informational flood, and very confusing what's out there about lifestyle, about food, about diet, about how to find health, how to find balance in your life. And so it's hard to find clarity in that. And I totally get that, because I was battling with that for so many years as well. But I have good news, and we're going to go through that. It is way simpler than you think. And that's really good news. So it's way less confusing than what it looks like. So that's one reason why we're here and sharing this today. And also, this is another long topic. Not going to dive into that. The healthcare, our healthcare system, it's not really set up for actual healthcare. It has a wonderful and very important role in our life, but it's also more like some people call it like a sick care or disease management. So it's not really set up for prevention. Our doctors are not trained in nutrition and how lifestyle and how even like stress. They know how it affects the body, but they don't really know it. They're not trained in how to help people with that and with the prevention and all that. And there's another official answer to the question why we're here, that because there are 678,000 deaths occurring every single year only in the US, or the US only, due to bad food choices. And we're not only here to talk about food, but that's going to be a big part, and how to create a lifestyle that is easy and simple, and it's healing. That is critical. And my big thing is, because I'm very, very big on that, to help people how to do that transition without feeling any like they sacrifice their health or their love for the food or their joy or anything. So we're going to talk about that as well. But that could be another big reason why you're here, because you might have a vision or a purpose, a big desire, something that you want to achieve, but you don't seem to turn a corner to be able to really live up to that potential or the purpose. And I'll share my story in a few minutes, and then you can see how much my struggles were holding me back to be able to achieve even finding my purpose and being able to step out there and really make that happen. Give me 1 second. I doesn't want to switch the slides. There you go. So sharing a little bit more about what you will learn here during this training. It is, we try to keep it like in like an hour and a half. So, but I'll share everything. I'm not holding anything back. So all the steps, everything, I'm going to just give it all. We have like some limited time. So not sure how much we can dive into the details, but I'm definitely not holding anything back. So you'll learn all the 7-step process, how to completely transform your life and your health, and also the relationship. So I'm very, very big on that. So I need to highlight that, how much the health struggles and also like other kinds of blockages can affect the relationship so that's a real clear connection in between our potential, our purpose, our whatever like your big dream is, that your vision that you want to achieve, and the health problems, or like when you just don't feel aligned with yourself, even with your emotion and with your mind. So that's included. When I say health, it is not only the physical level. So it's kind of want to give heads up for that. So it's always a very complex thing altogether. And we'll talk about that as well, how much they are connected and how we can find that alignments in the whole system. So also an easy way to how to adopt the lifestyle that creates that alignment. So with the food, with the nutrition, but also we're going to talk a lot about the emotional part, a lot about, and that's very critical, the mindset, and not just the conscious, but also the unconscious mind as well. So how to rewire those patterns, those mindset stories, and how to break out of the habits, those limitations, the habits, the patterns that are no longer serving you. Maybe they never have, but I'll share a little bit about how our brain works and what its role is, and how it can hold us back from a lot of things, even if we know that would be beneficial, but we just have those blockages from the brain. And why do we have that? So, and how to turn the health challenges into empowerment, and how to shift your perspective from even when you're experiencing pain or some kind of a struggle. I'm going to talk about that, one of my top favorite topics. And also how to create an abundant life through that alignment. So we're going to cover all of that. And for those of you who don't know me or don't know me yet, so my name is Sophie Brockner, and I'm a functional nutrition, health, and mindset coach, and also many, many things more: Reiki master, holistic medicine practitioner, yoga instructor, all that. But this is not why I'm here. But before I dive into that part, I want you to connect with why you are here. And you might have the answer right away. And I do this with my students before every class to connect them with their big why, because it's usually not what it seems like for you. Like, oh, I've been experiencing some pain or discomfort. Oh, I've been wanting to lose weight. Or, oh, I've been wanting to get healthier or lower my stress level, or anything. Like, those are the answers that come out right away. But I want you to dive a little bit deeper and just connect with what you're currently feeling as a challenge or experiencing as a challenge. What is it holding you back from? What is that you seemingly can't achieve at the moment or currently or now? Maybe it's been going on for months and months or years even, and that is holding you back from something big. And it doesn't even have to be huge. So it doesn't have to be like a big vision. But for some people, it is like really making a big impact on the world. That was personally for me too. So share more about that as well. But what is the big purpose kind of that you would like to do? We can switch that around. If you had like a magic wand, and you could eliminate those challenges or health challenge that you're currently experiencing, what would be possible? What is the why? What would you do that if you didn't have that it doesn't seem to be achievable at the moment? So that's your big why. And at the end, so I'll share also one of the gifts that is for you here, and I can help you connect with that vision and that purpose, and what is that for you, and how you can connect those dots. So we're just going to take one deep, big breath, big inhale together, and inhale that big why, that big purpose, not the challenge parts. Yeah, I'm here because I'm struggling with this and that. No, I'm here because I want to achieve that big dream stuff. So that positive, just inhale that in and let that just stick with you, that vision. And that's why we are here. That's what we're going to work on today. So, and my big why was part of my story. So it's not, as I said, that, okay, what I work with and what I do kind of thing. This is not why I'm here. This is why I'm here. That's my story. I'll share, I don't want to dive too deep in there, just little highlights that I was struggling through 22 years pretty much, with starting with my hair loss when I was 12 years old. Well, it was starting to be visible, so it probably even started earlier than that. And also when I was in my mid-20s, it got topped with like really bad digestive issues. Like I had diarrhea for 6 years. Nobody could ever figure it out. I kept hitting the walls with the medical for 12 years. and never gotten any, like not even one single answer. So the papers that you see down on the picture, those were just, I think it's just parts of my medical records. And like there's even like CTs and, you know, all kinds of stuff, like different scans. And like I went through all kinds of things. And it wasn't the physical pain and those issues that was the biggest struggle. It was all like the emotional hassle and how it made me feel. It made me feel like there's something wrong with me. Every single day I was operating on that level, trying to figure out what is wrong with my body, who can heal me. And I kept on like going from one doctor to another. And I felt very hopeless. I felt very, very helpless. I had a lot of fears. I had anxieties. The picture down there with the paper bag and the guy's head, that's literally, that was my wish. I just wish that I could just walk around in the street with a paper bag on my head so nobody could notice. I was like highly conscious about it. It wasn't horrible even, but it was visible and bad enough for me that created those anxieties and created a lot of body confidence issues. And so it doesn't mean what you look like or what your weight is, or you know, whatever it, like any single, like even some little skin issues can cause very similar things to people, and it can hold you back from so many things. That's what we're going to dive into as well, like how those are connected. And I also, yeah, feeling shameful and or shamed and embarrassed and all kinds of feelings that I was battling through my teenage years, through my 20s, all those years when it's supposed to be the most vibrant years of someone's life, especially as a woman. And I had totally the opposite. And I was constantly just struggling with trying to figure out what is wrong with me. And the worst part, which I didn't feel at the beginning, and then it started creeping up more and more and more, that I was unable to live my purpose. So I couldn't live a fulfilled, purposeful life because I couldn't even think about the purpose or, you know, why I'm here and or how to give something back to the world, because I was just operating on that very, very low level, that physical struggle level. And I couldn't get out of that. So for that to be able to happen, to find my purpose and be able to live my full potential, is I had to find that alignment and had to create that health. And then what happened, so since I didn't get any answers from the medical field, that I had to step on my health healing journey with alternative medicine, and then later on functional nutrition, and change, like heal a lot of emotional traumas and relationships with my own feelings and fears, and totally transform my mindset. That's always that's the biggest thing. Once you have your mindset right, then you can transform a lot of other things. And then what happens, and this is, I mean, I can't really show any other proofs of my other parts of the healing, but when you know when hair heals and like things like that, that your body is putting to the side when you're operating on a high stress, chronic stress level. And that's when the body shuts down all those functions that are not necessarily needed for survival. That's part of like hair. It's part of relaxation, proper digestion, rejuvenation, and all those, like just the body just puts them to the side. And when you have all those like other health struggles and inflammation going on, or just chronic stress, those are going to be put in the drawer. And so first you have to have that deep healing for those to come back. So that's when I knew that, okay, I really had breakthroughs and deep healing, because my body finally got to those bottom parts of the drawers, like, oh, now finally we can deal with your hair and things like that. So, but that a lot of things had to happen for that. And it took me 10 years of deep shadow work, self work, and 10 years of education. I got trained in every modality that I been through, and I found it helpful. And why I'm here for you today is to give you a shortcut so you don't have to wait. And a lot of things, health issues, hair issues, all kinds of things, and even being able to live your purpose, those are very time consuming. So you don't necessarily want to lose 10 years to figure out yourself. So that's why I'm here, to share it all and share all the steps. And what was the first thing? And what is the first thing that I always teach as well? It is the conscious mind, because that's, in a way, that's the easiest, or that's more on the surface, because we are aware of those. And one of the most important, if you take away one thing of today, it is that your brain believes whatever you think. And that's good news and that's bad news. So your brain is going to believe if you think that something is wrong with you, that you're unable to heal, or you're too old to, I will get into those a little deeper, on the deeper level, on the unconscious mind and the limiting beliefs. But if you just think like any kind of negative thing, negative thoughts, your brain can believe that, and literally it will create those hormones and chemical changes in your body. Start gonna produce those, what they are, depending on what you think, and the repetitive thoughts, and anything that you think and bring up like on a daily basis, speak out, things like that, those are going to be burned into your system, and your body is going to operate through that. The good news is, though, if you're able to shift that and you start bringing in the positive thoughts, and that patterns will shift, and the chemicals are going to be different, because the brain are going to produce the healing chemicals. If you start thinking like, oh, I can heal, I can make this happen, like shifting that mindset, that can create a lot of positive changes, at least starting on it. So now if you have your pen and paper, I would love you to connect with those thoughts that you feed your mind on a daily basis or multiple levels. You can think about like even just when you look into the mirror. I had a lot of thoughts when I looked into the mirror back then, and they were not pleasant. So what are the thoughts that you keep feeding your mind with? And you can start with the positives, and then we can switch that around. So one way is that your brain works is repetition. So when you keep repeating something, doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, the brain will learn that, and that creates a pattern, and that it will rewire your system after a while. So if you bring in the positive, the brain is going to start creating a new pattern and habits from that, like healing habits even, and those producing those positive chemicals. And also, that's another thing, we're gonna talk about that a little bit, but your brain is not here to make you happy. Your brain is here, and its purpose or its role is to keep you safe. So, and that's when it's more important for the unconscious mind and the belief system, because that's how those beliefs are created. Your brain is trying to protect you, kind of overprotecting you, and it creates those walls just because anything outside of what's familiar, it is going to be scary because it's unknown. It's just not familiar. So the brain is going to try to hold you back and do throw in all the excuses in and onto your plate to not make any changes, even if it's the current situation is struggle, or you have the health issues, or if you have the pain, or you're emotionally not balanced. The brain in a way won't care, because it will keep you in the circle what is safe, and safe is what you know, what is familiar, even if it's not a good thing. So that's why we have to do some brain hacks in a way. And there are some wonderful methods that I also work with our students and clients as well to work those through. But one of them is, so I give you a good example to work on that, is the repetition. So once you had what you feed your mind on a daily basis written down, and then shift that to a positive, like what would be the opposite of positive that you would like to have as a brain food every day. So the thoughts, and then keep that, like repeat that over and over. And when you catch yourself, like even looking in the mirror and having those thoughts, that's when you also like, oh, okay, let's switch that around. And so why we talk about all this, and like, as I said, this is not just like a food nutritional class, but to be able to create the health that you are craving for. We cannot operate only on the physical level. We can approach it from the physical, and I'll share you an example. You can be on the healthiest diet on the planet. If your brain is going to believe that whatever you are struggling with it's genetic, or like the doctor just told you like, oh, there's nothing we can do about because of this, that we don't have the solution, then you're going to believe that's the case. And it's going to block the healing energies and the healing properties of the food, even because your brain is just going to say, like, for your whole system, like, oh, no, I don't believe that's possible. So that's so good. And then now jump on, already kind of sneaked into the unconscious mind. So, and that's why it's so critical to look into these elements and work on these aspects. Same for emotional healing. Like, you can approach yourself, your healing from the physical level, but if your heart is not happy and your heart is not healthy, because you still have to deal with a lot of old traumas, or you still have to heal some relationships and make some changes in that, like from your past, that is still going to block, again, just the same way, the full healing potential. It's not going to block the healing, but it will hold you back to really make that, like, live up to that full potential in the healing. So, and the reprogramming the unconscious mind, diving a little bit deeper, it is, and yeah, just threw some examples in there, but there's literally like over 500-600, even just in when I was studying. So, and then we were writing more and more and more to the list. So there's really a lot of different beliefs that is not serving you on a daily basis at all, and not even in the long run. And so, as I usually share, that's the biggest BS that is blocking your health and your healing. That's your belief system, and it's extremely critical. And I just said a good example. If you're going to believe that your issue is sourced in like genetics, or it's, oh, it just runs in the family, or I'm too old to make these changes or get fit or lose weight, or whatever it is for you that you would like to achieve, and if you have that belief, you won't be able to reach really that on the level, or most likely not, that you would like to, because those beliefs are going to block a lot of things. So, and there's some other good example. I said that, yeah, when you're getting older, you could have those thoughts and beliefs that it's going to be harder to change and heal and things like that. Or it's a good one, I don't have time for self-care, or I can't follow through a lifestyle change, or I just tend to fall off the track. So what's going to happen? Then you just justify yourself that to not even start. Because you have that, and beliefs are usually based on some kind of fear. So what would be the fear behind it? And I'm giving you more tools and look behind the curtains. So that would be the fear of failure. So your brain, just to be safe and not have you get hurt with trying and failing, that it's going to create that false reality. So because that's how it works, your brain is really going to think and believe that that's true, that's the reality. So that's kind of how you know that you have the limiting belief, that because it really feels like totally a reality. So, and yeah, or if I can't get healthier because either my relationship or my job or something is too stressful, you're already blocking the possibility. And yeah, I said that the doctors told me. So that's very typical one, that we get this answer from the doctors. So, okay, this is my destiny. But I have good news, that even genetics are not defining you. Like, you're not a victim of your genetics, and I teach that part. But if you that's another good hint, or you can write down, if you just look into epigenetics, and especially like teachings of Dr. Bruce Lipton, then it's going to be, even just that part is going to be really life-changing, because now scientifically it's proven that our genetics are not defining anything. We have certain blueprints, but it's actually the environment and how your mindset is around that, about that. So what your relationship to those circumstances, that is going to define your genetics and that blueprint. So, but yeah, we won't really have time to dive into that too much. I'm going to give you very short little tools, just because we are limited with the time. But so what you can do when you find, and then now you have your pen and paper. So write down, like, what is that belief that it keeps coming back to you, and it feels very true, but it does feel like it's holding you back from trying and really manifesting and really step into that. It could be like, oh, I don't have the money for that, or I don't have the time, or I'm too old to make changes, or whatever it is. You can write down a few things, and then you can start thinking, is that actually true? Is it really true? Or do I know other people who could lose weight at like after giving birth or after a certain age, or they could heal certain things that I would think or believe that those are impossible? And then you realize like, oh, actually, yeah, there are people that are able to do that. So that it's not impossible. So what is it? That is that a story, or is it a fact? Anything can be disputed. Those are the stories. And anything that cannot be disputed, those are the facts. So once you find your story, now it's time to work on those stories. And as I said, that you're not a victim of your genetics. So what is your story? What is your belief that you created for yourself, and it's holding you back from full potential, holding you back from abundance and financial freedom? We'll talk about that and how that is related to our alignment as well. So those are little exercises. And oh my gosh, my top favorite here to talk about, and I could literally talk about this for like 3 weeks straight in a row. So I'll try to put everything in a nutshell so you get a really good insight about that, and just giving you some good aha moments to some little tools and gifts that you can take home then and have that sink in, and maybe start manifesting something from that, like a good change from your mind. So this is not new, that our body is and your body is a perfect system, and everything is connected. As just I shared a lot of like the mind of the brain, how that works, how it can block different things, and how it can change the chemistry and produce different hormones depending on what we think and all that. Same with the emotions. So when you are not in the right emotional state, that is going to create different effects in the body. And also, what is the other good news with the brain is the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and that kind of a reality that we imagine. And the same, that's a good example I just teach and practice with my students as well, that when you just imagine licking a lemon, if you really dive into the details and like you go out in the kitchen, get it out, cut it up, you can even smell it now and start licking it, it's going to cause already a lot of changes in your chemistry, in your biology. So on the physical level, and that, what did you go out literally and start cutting the lemon and licking it? No, but did it connect with your body and producing the changes? Yes, it did. So that's how it works. And it's a very, very simple exercise just to see. It's like, oh my gosh, yes. So whatever I think and imagine, and if you imagine yourself ahead when you are fearing of something that is not there, and you literally create those reactions ahead, that stress reactions from the body, then the body is going to jump into the sympathetic nervous system boost, and then the chronic stress can start from that when you are constantly in that state. So yes, everything is really, really deeply connected. But good news and the bad news, it could be the same. But one thing that's probably that was the most important information on my healing journey, which I had hard times at the beginning, kind of not accepting, but understanding how that works. That is, our body is a channel. It is a messenger. And everything that we experience, if it's pain, if it's illness, anything that manifests on the physical level, it has a message. So it is there for in a way, a reason, and it's not that woo-woo as it sounds. But it's like, I can just bring in the example with my hair. My first big step was, and probably the hardest, to be able to feel grateful. It just sounds like really awful at the moment when you're experiencing pain or hair loss or any kind of struggle, to be able to shift the perspective And for me, the first step was, how could I ever feel grateful for something like that, that created like a hell of like teenagers and 20s and all that for myself? How can I be grateful for experiencing something that is horrible? And it could be, of course, like any kind of illness or disease that you have. But for me, that was that. Well, one of them. And so, but the first shift I could make was how to invite gratitude. And I could first see that my body was trying to tell me and signal me that it's like, no, there are some things around you or inside of you, in your environment, like whatever it is, or your even like your eating habits, whatever it was. That needs, like, something needs to change. And when we don't pick up on, so the body normal is really generous, that it gives you the little signals, the little hints, and then we don't pay attention. Well, of course we notice that. What do we do? That, oh, I have a little headache, then we just take a pill that will just make it vanish or just compress it, and then so we don't have to deal with it, and then we don't have to listen. But when we ignore those, then what happens? The body's going to throw in just more bigger symptoms, bigger issues. And then after a while, we cannot ignore those. And my first shift was with my hair, that I started realizing, oh, my body is trying to signal me. And it could have signaled me through something else. It could have created some like horrible illness in my body even. But no, it didn't. It was just, in a way, a very gentle hair loss. If they cure it, it's all right for me, yes. But it could have been, even way worse. So like, oh, okay, so that was a messenger. Let me start listening to that. Why is it there? What do I need to change? Do I need to change my diet? Do I need to change my mindset? Do I need to heal some emotional trauma that I had, or relationships with whatever, parents, but like anything that, so you can ask yourself those questions. But once you're able to adopt that mindset, that it could be a message behind that, and it's I'm almost certain that's almost 100% there's always a message behind it. And once you're be willing to be present to listen, that's when big transformation can start. And so this way your body is protecting you through those symptoms. Now, that was the biggest thing that I learned that really started shifting everything around. Because when you adopt that mindset, you see everything from the other side, totally the other side. Because when we have those fears, when we have those struggles and the discomfort and pain and illness, or whatever it is that you struggle with, it could be even financial issues, whatever it is, that's more from life, not really from your body, but it works the same way. It's another long topic, but so let's try to just stick with the body part. So once you're able to see that from a perspective that, okay, so it is here to tell me something, it is trying to protect me from something bigger, because I need those changes, whatever it is, even if it's lifestyle, even if it's like anything that you need to make those changes because things are not really working too well, or not the way that you would like to, or you don't seem to achieve your big dreams or whatever it is for you, then you can start being like feeling more grateful for oh, thank you, now I got this thing here to let me know that I really need to change. And before that, without this mindset, what do? Like we just, I don't want this pain again. It's just annoying or frustrating, or it's painful. I don't want it. We just want to push it away, run away. Yeah, you do go to the doctor. I did that for 12 years as well. And what do then? We expect someone else to read the messages that is just for us. You are the only one who can understand that. You're the only one who can find the answers within yourself. That was one of my mistakes. Not the mistakes, of course, like going to the doctor. That's needed, and we need to do that. But expecting someone else to heal us when there's some deep work needed and changes needed, that we have to go through that. You can't go around that part. So anyhow, I told you that's my favorite topic. So I try not to stick to it like overly long, but it can be absolutely life-changing and even life-saving to be able to adopt that shift in your mind, that try to really dive into and allow yourself to not necessarily be grateful. It might be just too far away at the moment, but just start to listen, just to be willing to not want to run away and not want to push it away, even if it's pain. Of course, that you don't have to manage that somehow. So I'm not saying like, don't go to the doctor, don't take pain medication. Of course, do what is needed, but that be willing to, in your mind, to dive into and just be open to listen and to the messages. So, and releasing and healing unresolved emotional blocks. That was the other big moment for me, and big shift that helped me really make, is realizing that everything is stored in our body. So especially if it's something that negative emotion, it was linked to that particular event or trauma, anything, it is stored in your system. And we need to find what is causing those blocks. And there are wonderful ways and methods to do that. You can even like literally ask your system, and your muscles will be able to tell. There's a whole science also behind it that I help also students with. But first, again, just allowing yourself to feel like the emotions, not just the listening part with like, what's the message, but also we tend, especially nowadays, to not listen and not feel. And feeling, the ability to feel, this is one of our big healing powers. So being present to what we feel, not pain or just emotional related. Now we are in that level, step 3. So that can be also very critical. A lot of our emotions that keep just trying to hunt us down and just keep us trapped on a daily basis, a lot of times they just want to be felt, they just want to be heard so they can leave. And so that's a good little practice that you can do. And also just I'm giving you another little tool, change your physicality. That's again another proof like how much things are related and connected in our whole system, in the body and the mind. And that's why I'm so big on that. It's not, you cannot solve it fully, most likely just on the physical level, just from changing your food, just from something. Because if you still deal with those emotions, everything it's gonna be affected by that as well. So, but getting back to the physiology, if you change your physiology, like you notice that especially when you're battling with certain emotions, and then you like tend to change your posture and just notice what your position is when, not just that, but even anytime, any moment during the day, even now. And if you can change that, then I'm not just talking about the posture, but even that can make a huge difference. So if you now at wherever you're sitting, if you're sitting or standing, you can sit or stand in a way that you can be very proud of, like really lifting up your heart, rolling the shoulders back, elevating yourself, then it's going to create, again, very different chemicals from the brain. And your emotional state is going to change with that physical state. And this is just a very, very simple adjustment. But if whenever you're experiencing something negative, if you get up or get out, go for a walk, start jumping, start dancing, whatever it is for you, just to change that and change your energetic system through that, then it's going to shift everything around the emotions as well. So that's one really great tool out of the toolbox. One of them that's very instant and very helpful. So not necessarily in the long run, if you're consistent with some kind of movement or yoga, whatever it is in your practice, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. That in the long run, it can be when you create a routine out of it, like part of your self-care. We talk about self-care as well. Hopefully we'll have the time as well. So yes, changing the physiology, and also taming our fears. Fears is a whole another topic that we go through also with students as well. But so how to manage those, and just the same way as we would manage them, we try to push them away, like the pain that, okay, we don't want to deal with them, but we have to be in a way present for them to be able, so that you can tame them instead of trying to just get rid of them, because that unfortunately doesn't work. We can't run away from our own shadow. and our own self. And so yeah, you can use now your little paper and pen to write down your core emotions or emotion, and maybe just try one, write down one. What is the most challenging one that it keeps coming back to you, and that just to connect with that. And then maybe also listen to that. What is it trying to tell you? Like, what are maybe the changes that are necessary? And so now we're going to jump on how food can be used as medicine. And it is medicine if it's used in the right way. So how to clean the toxins out of the body. So now we are on the physical level. And very, very critical in that sense to find the foods that love you back. And that's when you can heal on the physical level through that, I mean, through the food. So how using food as medicine. And also one of the first step is that I usually guide people through, and I do myself with them as well. It's a cleansing and fasting. And it's not that you can do that with not without any starving yourself, any, hassle. I mean, it has the breakthroughs. You have to kind of break down to be able to get a breakthrough. So it can be, it's not necessarily easy, but it's absolutely magic when you finally clean the house. And that's the same thing with the emotions. And I share that quote quite often from Louise Hay, that, why can't we just, start the clean stuff, immediately and just deal with that. Same thing with the emotions. Oh, why can't I just start bringing in like more happy emotions? But because if you, and that's what she said then when she was asked, like, why do we need to bring up the negative first to be able to really clean? And she said, like, because if you want to clean the house, you have to see the dirt. And it's unfortunately true. I think I get into chills every time I just say this out, because it's so powerful. And it's very true for your mind. It's very true for your unconscious mind as well, your belief system, your emotions, and it's true for the body as well. So to be able to get a good start, you can start eating healthy, but it would take a longer process. And anyway, I'm not going to dive too much into it. It's just a wonderful tool. And also, yeah, it's very important to do it safely and easily, so we don't have to suffer through that. But it can be very powerful and very important as well, to especially before we jump on a lifestyle change or something. And so let's see. Cleaning, I'll have to let one of our students in later on to this training. She didn't get the link, and she's actually part of our program, and she's a student, so she's gonna share some things. And people have always that question, that which diet should I choose? And then they, throw in the most popular ones nowadays. Is it keto? Is it paleo? Do we eat or need to or could or should we eat meat? Or what do we do with the fats? Because there's so many controversial information about that as well. Do we need to eat vegetarian? Do I have to be vegan even? And then please don't take my chocolate. So we all have those questions. And the good news is, it's none of them is what means health and healthy and healing by itself. And yes, it's very true. Even like people, I'm very big on that. It's like, oh, and I might be like them being very proud of like I'm vegan or whatever they are on. Even being vegan, it doesn't mean a thing. You can eat all the junk food and the vegan junk food and all the processed sugars and all those. So even that doesn't mean anything. But there is one way to do that, and it's more like, what do you need to eliminate? And also, and this is going to be very scary to see first. And like, then you think like, oh my gosh, like what is left? So, but the good news is though, there is a very easy and simple way to do this make the changes step by step with not eliminating in a way anything that you love, but just finding the substitutions, replace them with the healthier versions, or healthy, like the healing versions of those kinds of foods. And I'm very, very huge. It's very important to me to not sacrifice, because we don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to give up those things. We don't want to give up our sweet tooth. Like, I wouldn't even be here and teach this if I had to do that. But no, there are ways to keep your sweet tooth and to even, eat your meat if that's your thing, or dairy as well. Like, it's just need modification. And that's what, since, yeah, we can't really dive deeply into these, but if you just, mark these down and start experimenting with, okay, what is having like hidden sugar, what I have here at home in my cabinet or in my fridge, or things that you buy, and how to just start bringing in ones that are not filled with the hidden sugar. That's just one example, but it's not that processed. So given more and more chance to whole foods and more vegetables and more all those, and yeah, just being pesticide free and GMO free. And also there's another element which I included in this list, but it's a whole other separate topic in a separate module that I also teach, that how to get rid of the environmental toxins, which they are just all over us, and it's also very critical, and things that go through our skin, as like that's one of our biggest organ, that has almost no filtering system, so everything goes through that as well, right directly into your bloodstream. So, and how to be mindful, and how to make the transition and the transformation through that without feeling that, oh, and I can't have that, I can't have just not sacrificing pretty much any part of it, and still create a massive transformation and healing for the body. So these are the key elements, and there, yeah, as I said, there is a way to do that. And also very critical to take care of our gut microbiome, because 70% of our immune system lives in our guts. So that's where it's operating from. And also 95% of serotonin, which is our happy hormone, it's not produced in our brain, it is produced in our guts. And there's many more reasons why it affects everything. So very critical to take good care of that. And then it will affect our whole system, your brain, your function, your energy level, your focus, everything. So that's another whole other module and everything that we go through. But just a little summary, because you still might have the question, okay, so which diet should I go with? Technically, what I would say, eat food. And it might sound funny, but yes, food means real food. Food means whole food. Food means not going through a process, to have like a processed food and prepackaged and all those. Go not only plant-based necessarily if it's not your thing, but go plant strong. So we start bringing in more and more plants, clean, organic ones. Very critical. I also teach that part, how to avoid the GMOs, and why is it that important to go with organic as well. Or so what can you do if you can't afford organic and things like that. So the closer is the way nature provides those foods, the better. So that's when you find the whole foods. And also eat prebiotics, probiotics, probiotic foods, and lots of fiber. Fiber is extremely critical. Getting back to the microbiome, it's what the good bacteria in our system, which we extremely need, those live on. So then they can thrive, and they can not kick out necessarily, but lower the amount of the bad guys in our system, in our guts, and in our microbiome. So, and what can happen when we make those changes? Now, it's just partially with food, but also related to the emotion. And it's a very short list of the possibilities or the potential. But once you make the change, like in a lifestyle change, that you can reduce your inflammation in your body, and inflammation affects, again, everything. So that's critical also to lower and reduce and eliminate. And you're most likely going to lose weight as well. And then you get rid of the toxins. That's one of the process of the weight loss, because you get rid of the things that your body's been storing, but it's not really serving you. Eliminate pain. That's also a good possibility. And especially when you do a cleanse, a fast, and then you get on like a cleaner eating, and then you know how to deal with that pain with your mental state and mindset and all that. So then you can eliminate that. Balancing mood is also, a lot is related to food. Oh my gosh, guys, it is critical also to have that balance. And also, like, even with fears and anxieties, even with depression, like how can it manage much better through our guts, through our microbiome, through our digestion, with the foods that can be used as medicine, because food is medicine. The food, so the real foods, not the man-made processed ones that we cannot even call foods. So also solving skin issues and hair issues, which is directly related to inflammation, the imbalance in the gut microbiome, well, so many other things. I'm just sharing a few. Stress level. So if you're operating a chronic stress level, that it's going, as I said before, so the body is going to shut down those functions and just put those in the drawer, like, oh, that's not necessarily to clean those. One of the ways that the body is releasing the toxins, it is through our skin. So when you have skin issues, maybe that's could be a good indication. Not just you have necessarily inflammation or something, but the body might needs, like, just it's really trying to get rid of something, some kind of a like toxicity in there. Toxicity, I mean, things that be building up that we almost cannot even avoid 100%, because even if you are on a clean diet, that you're going to inhale them, it comes through your skin, or things. It's just a lot of things. So regardless of your diet, good cleansing and fasting, and also just coming back to that topic a little, can be pretty important and critical. Also, more focus on productivity. Now, that's critical again when we want to maximize our potential, when you want to live your purpose and create that abundance and such, that I'm going to talk about a little bit more, because that's very, very important in the healing process as well, and how the two can affect each other by going back and forth and vice versa. Also getting your energy back, so boosting your energy and your focus also. Better sleep and aging slower. That's not a bad benefit either. And also, yes, so being able to be present for yourself, for your own life, to live life fully and joyfully, and to be able to be present for your loved ones and your purpose. Because as I said at the beginning, when you are operating on that level, when you're just constantly trying to figure out what is wrong with you or your body, how can you heal, how can you lower pain, all those, you won't really be able to focus, not even just think about, to live your purpose, like what your real dream is, like how can you do something that you can, and it could be very different for everybody, to how can make an impact in the world or help others or so. When you can't help yourself yet, or you're not serving yourself and do proper self-care and all that you wouldn't really be able to go out and be fully present for anybody else, including your own family, and even with your own children as well. And when your mood is not balanced, and so you see like how many other aspects is affected by that. And now it doesn't let me switch the slides again. Oh, there you go. Okay, so that's our next one. It is realigning your energy system. And we won't really have time to dive into that part, but the energy and our energetic system, it is extremely connected, and it's critical for every part. Like, we are literally made of energy, not the energy as the woo energy, the energy that is now scientifically even proven. And even the smallest particle that we thought were the smallest particles in the atoms and all those, if you break those down, it's 99 point, I think there's 9 nines after that, 99.9999% of empty space. And everything is made of energy, and we have an energetic system. And there are amazing, amazing tools. And it could be even just a daily self-care routine, whatever it is for you. But it's important to keep that balance and keep that channel open. So then you'll feel aligned and balanced with whatever you do. And also, yeah, the food and the lifestyle, everything, they all help each other, and they are all together. And it literally could be anything. You might go like do running, that's your energy boost. You might do yoga or pranayama, which is the breathing techniques, very, very wonderful healing properties. Or you can do EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, the tapping that you literally tap into your nervous system and rewire the patterns in the brain. So I teach that also to students. It's pretty mind-blowing what it can do. Or it might be meditation for you, or sound therapy. It could be mindfulness, hypnosis, acupuncture, like literally anything, whatever works for you. It might be even just a massage that you can get regularly. It could be Ayurvedic practices, like anything that helps you like makes you like your body feel better, but also lifts your spirit up, and you just feel like, oh wow, now I feel amazing, kind of thing. Now you need to do more of that, like way more, to keep that and have it as a routine, not just get to a chiropractor or whatever it is for you when you are a wreck and then like I need someone to put me back together. No, like if you do that, build that in as a routine, as a self-care routine. And it could be even just if yoga is your thing or you want to try that, a 15-minute yoga or 10-minute yoga, that shifted everything for me. Because first I thought, like before that, I was like, oh, I need to do an hour and a half every day. I don't have time for that. But I actually can do 10. Yes, I can do 10 minutes or 5. Well, 5, yes, in like running around in the morning. Yeah, you can probably sneak in 5 minutes. But you do like a 10, 15 minutes, you can build it into your evenings, or and whatever your schedule or your routine is. That's when you think, and that's kind of becomes a pattern that, oh, I don't have the time for that now, the 10 minutes, like then it's just an excuse. And it's very true for a lot of other things. Like we have the time whatever we prioritize, just whatever we want to, in a way. That is very true. I had such a resistance to accept this fact for a long time, but it's very true. So whenever you keep putting things to the side and having those thoughts, that, oh, no, I don't have time for that. That's, probably that you found a limiting belief, and you can work on that. Then you can like, oh, is it really true? Or is it just a story that I'm creating? Why I'm creating that? Is it because so that's just an excuse, that what I'm trying to run away from? Is it because of fear of failure, because I'm trying to do whatever? If it's exercise because you want to lose weight, or something that you might fear of, like, oh, it's just not going to work again, or I get too tired, like whatever it is, like your actual core reason that is creating those blockages, and then the excuses and all those. It's very helpful and healing also to dive into those and find those. All right, and creating the alignment with yourself and with your life. Now we're getting a little bit more into the what's possible, and it's also related to the limiting beliefs around life. So what are your core limiting beliefs that are affecting your potential? And what areas, like that's another first question, that you can write that down in paper also, like what areas in your life are not seem to be working, or for a long time, like not necessarily currently, but for a long time. And then you most likely have some limiting beliefs around that. And there are some very, very deep ones, like, and this, almost all of us have that, like not feeling good enough, or not feeling enough, not feeling good enough, or I'm not loved, or I'm just, the fear. And what's behind those? Usually it's the fear of rejection, or, just all those create these beliefs, which are, again, just not true. Those are your stories. And as Tony Robbins says, change your story, change your life. This is very true. And there are amazing, amazing techniques that can rewire those mindsets, that hold your whole belief system. So those won't hold you back from, being able to really get out there and do whatever you are here for, with get into that. That's the seventh step to be able to live your purpose. But one of the most powerful questions that I ever gotten from that was actually from my kinesiology teacher from back in Hungary. That when I was complaining, you know, how I'm going to make this work, I just had my baby. She was probably like 2 months old, and I didn't really see like how I'm going to be able to do anything. I felt just so like trapped and blocked and don't have the knowledge, and you know, like how I'm going to make this work, how I'm going to do something good that I feel like I'm here for. And I just flooded her with all those questions, the complaints. And then she had this one question. She kind of like leaned back, like, so is that impossible? And then it's like, it blew my head off because she was so right. No, those were all the excuses that I gathered because I was afraid of, you know, stepping into my power. So I created those excuses, and my belief system totally thought like those were true. Like, no, those were just the stories. Was it impossible? No. Am I here now, even today, and, you know, teaching this? No, it was possible. So yeah, just ask yourself that question once you have that limiting belief found. And it doesn't even have to be your core limiting beliefs. Like there's like ways to peel those layers off, and then finally you find a real one. But whatever, like you can find at the moment, even what is that for you? It could be also like related to a lot of like financial issues. Like, oh, if I leave my job, that I won't be able to create financial freedom, or if that it's not safe, or it's a lot of like people also with money blocks. That's also the same, that you have a lot of fears, and fears create limiting beliefs. Like a lot of people actually, even if they work for that and they want that, they have fears about receiving, that financial freedom, like really creating the abundance, because then they fear like, oh, people are going to judge me, my friends are going to turn away from. That's another whole other topic that I actually work with, but to release those abundance blocks as well. So those, and it's just the same thing here, like whatever it is for you at the moment that you find that, okay, like I've been struggling with this, like what is my belief, like that I think that is true, and then you separate it too, like, is it the story, or is it the fact, like which one can it be disputed? And then you'll see like, oh, actually it is not impossible. So then, okay, then you can set up the steps and how to make the impossible to, one of my favorite pictures is that I am possible. It is the same word, we just need like one little line in there. So, and yes, oh my gosh, one of my favorite topics, I could literally write books about this. It is the purpose, finding your purpose and be able to live your purpose. And what is the purpose actually? Purpose is when you do something that is fulfilling for your soul and you feel like you can give something back to, it doesn't have to be in a way that you give something back to the world, but I share this part of my story. And this is one of my big whys, why I'm here and why I wanted to overcome the health issues as well. Because I felt I had a computer job back then doing something that didn't serve the world, it served the owner of the company most likely, but I felt that I have, even when I was struggling with, all those health issues, I felt like I have so much energy that I want to give something back to the world. I want to do something good and not just, doing a robot work that it doesn't really serve anything. It doesn't do any good. And then I knew, and it was so strong. And I actually knew even back then in the back of my mind, and I think after a while I got into the conscious level as well, that yes, that's was a reason, one of the reasons behind my health struggles, because I was not living what I was called to for, like what I was here for. And this was a blockage also, and created a lot of stress, because then I had to do something that I didn't feel fulfilled. So when you do something that is inspiring for you, that is fulfilling, and I'm kind of started talking about as a job, but it doesn't necessarily start that way. For most people, it doesn't start that way. It starts with like finding things that makes you smile, that it brings you joy, that inspires you, relaxes you, it just makes makes you happy. It makes you feel like you're whole, you're very fulfilled. And I want you to write down just at least one thing, that what is that you, it's just really, really soul lifting for you. And there is a way to make that happen as well, and just doing more and more and more, and then figuring out like maybe how can you make a living out of that. But it's not necessarily the goal. For me, in a way, it was, because that was like literally the purpose is when you live that. And I was lacking that. And the very interesting connection that I found, that how much it really went vice versa. It wasn't just, so first of all, I felt it stressed me out as well. So it created some kind of some level of chronic stress, with me realizing that I'm not doing what I was called to. I'm not doing what my, in a way, my purpose is. I wasn't following my heart. So that created that cycle. But with not being able to do or live my purpose, one of the reasons was because I was struggling with the health problems and hair and the body confidence issues and things like that. So like, see how they affect each other really, really deeply. And that's why our health, it plays a key role in the ability to even live our purpose and our full potential. Because as I said at the beginning, if you're operating on that physical level, you're very limited in a way that you're kind of unable to get out of that bubble, because you have to solve that. You have to, connect the dots there to be able to step a little further. There's a good example that if you are chased by a lion and you're running in the savannah and the lion is trying to get you, and that your body is in a really, really stressed state, and stress is actually not a bad thing. It's a whole other topic. So stress is here to serve you, to support you. But it has its purpose. So let's say if you're running away from the lion and you have to fight for your life, the lion, your stress is serving that ability to be like this, your survival. So it really gathers all the energy and everything and blood flow. And so your body gets into that state when you have the full potential for surviving that current situation. But then what happens, and when we operate in daily lives nowadays, and we live in like chased by that imaginary lion all the time, because we're operating in a chronic stress state. And that's when it gets really a problem. But just getting back to that acute stress situation, when you're running away from the lion and your body is just fully on that, and you really gather all your focus and energy just to live through that part. And I imagine that, let's say I would drive up to you like while you're running, and I would just yell through the window and ask you like, hey, so what is that? What's your big vision? What is your purpose here now? Not here now at the moment, but just in general. And then you would just, while you're running, like you would look at me like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm fighting for my life right now. And like, you won't be able to even think of, you didn't even want to think about that, what's your purpose, what's your big dream, your vision, or the call of your heart, like all of those. And what's happening nowadays, that's how we live. We are operating on that level, that stress level, when we can't even think about that, because that's the way we live in our society, and kind of the way our society makes us live. But there is a choice, of course, to get out of that and not choosing to live in that chronic state, and using the tools that can really help manage that. Or at least we'll have the spikes, and of course we have stress situations, but the key is to how you can bounce back. And it's not just the stress, the emotional stress or mental stress, but the same way, if like your lifestyle is not healthy, if you constantly eating like the junk foods or the foods that are just not serving your health, that are not going to love you back, as I said before, that is going to put your body into that when you're in the chronic stress state with your mind and with your heart, your body is going to fight for like the inflammation and illnesses and diseases. Like, so on the physical level, it works the same exact way. So up till the point you find that alignment and create more health, you wouldn't be able to live really fully up to that purpose and up to that potential. That's my personal experience, because I was really limited to like exactly what I just said with that lion example. Like I wasn't even really able to, and by the time I started to create that health for myself and even start getting my hair back and things like that, I still didn't really have fully the confidence, because that when you have the body confidence issues, that you're not really able to be visible, not willing to be that visible, because you have those confidence issues and all, like the fear of the judgment and things like that. So those, and then it's the cycle goes on, that the not be able to live your purpose can create like more stress and like less health, and then so things like that. But then if you find really and connect those dots, then you really are able to step into that power and really like fully be visible into the world and create that that change, and not just for your health but everything else. So, and now we have the challenge here. So now you know what the issues are, things that maybe that you wrote down onto your paper. So you kind of have some kind of a clarity, like, okay, yeah, I know, I kind of see that this and this and this I'm struggling with, and it needs to be changed or shifted around or managed or something better. And you may not see them all. I also, when I share the gift, so I'll help you also to connect with those, like what are actually the current blockages and the obstacles, and how you can like lay out the path that you can step on and then start creating the changes and the healing. So, but you might have some clarity, and you pretty much know a few key elements, I'm pretty sure. And then, so after I shared all these and this mindset changes and perspectives and information and everything, that there's no looking backwards and no going backwards, because you know now what mainly the issues are, like what are the things that need to be changed. And especially with the mindset is huge. It is literally everything. And the unbelievable cost of the mindset is that you waste a tremendous amount of time and energy and money that you literally invested all into your fears and limiting beliefs. So that's the cost of kind of like the wrong mindset, when you have that belief system still fixated on something, and you limit yourself so much. And then, but it's always a choice. And every single moment in your life, you have a choice and a chance to change. And even for some people, just hearing the change is, they can do a backflip, like, oh, I don't like the fear of the change, but the change is your chance. So, and you see, just that's a very powerful picture. Again, it's very, very close. And that's your key in a way. So when you are getting not the ability, it's more like the courage and the mindset to really step in there. It's like, okay, I'm going to create the change. That's when you have really the chance to really make a big transformation. But so for some people, I've shared all this information, they will be just, okay, whatever. They might have doubts or fears and limiting beliefs, and then you can put it back in, the drawer and just keep going in your life with, continuing the same habits and patterns, or maybe you just probably forget about them. But some people, and that's why I'm here and sharing all these, some people find it very useful. So you can go back to and use those strategies. And so some people will try to implement them on their own. And that is wonderful. I did that for so long. It is pretty time consuming, but it could work at least on some level. But most of the people, they need some kind of a hand holding. So that's the key. The key is not the what. We most of us know like what we shouldn't eat. Like that's just one little example, but we still do that. So we need some kind of hand holding, a guidance. Somebody is like keeping us accountable. And so then there's no more, confusion, no more falling off the track, no more trying to figure it out by yourself, or like keep going, like falling back to the old patterns, or being controlled by fears, or feeling helpless and hopeless. So there's also a way to get that help, to get that. And if that's just for the people who feel that, okay, that's I tend to lose the, the following track. I tend to be like not, accountable, or just keep going with the plans and the desires to really go for that. And so I have systems, and I mean, I have like one big system with different ways, to help for the people who really, and I realize I'm like, okay, now I really want that, like want to achieve whatever it is. It's creating more abundance through your health, or creating just a healthier lifestyle because of your big why. Remember that I connected you with that. And if you really want that, like feel like you have been trying so many things, and it might be just, losing weight to feel better and lighter, whatever it is for you. But you might try, a gazillion different things, and it's just too hard to do alone. So I'm going to share some ways that I can support you. And I also share a totally free gift that I'm going to offer for all of you that are here, and just honor your time and your willingness even to like really even just make it here and listen this through and step into some things, a little power that, okay, now I'm gonna do something good for myself. So I share that in 1 second. But so yes, that's, a step-by-step system with the guidance on like how to do those steps. And also like even just with the food and the health, the lifestyle shift and the mindset, it's more like the how to without feeling the sacrifice. Well, I'm talking about mainly with the food, and but still, finding the easy ways to, get into like a proper self-care through the food as well, to use them as medicine as well. Also, I'll share energy medicine secrets and tools that are really directly supporting the transformation in our energetic system in a way that it's not the woo-woo part. But some people, when I found new methods that like, oh, I never done this before, but then they found it very, very powerful and helpful. So those are, and that's very important and very powerful to support all that the rewiring process and the changes and the manifestation as well, and everything. So, and to be able to break old habits and patterns, that's one of the hardest for a lot of people to, or they might have a breakthrough that they tend to fall back. But yeah, so breaking out of those negative patterns, that's also, there's help for that, and accelerating the healing, and the physical part, releasing the pain and all those, to really shift, the health part as well, and boost your immune system so you can feel and be more resilient. And the blockages, the other kind of blockages that, why finding those and changing them, not eliminating, but changing them into the more empowering and healing ones, healing tools, healing beliefs. Blockages, I'm talking about like limiting beliefs, like how can you change and transfer and transform those limiting beliefs into empowering ones, and how to lower your stress level. That is also, again, very critical, and how to live your purpose so you can really live up to that full potential, and then create financial freedom. So, and if you're wondering, like, is it for me? Would it work for me? Or what is possible? What can I do it? Is it even possible for me to do it? I have, oh, both of you are you're fantastic. Thank you. I saw your text, Jeannie, as well. So we have a couple of students here that has experiences with that, and they were happy to share. So if you have any doubts about that, if it's for you, or would it work for you, so just creating a little bit more mindset ease in a way, like for people that who are kind of on the edge of like, I don't know if I can do this, if it works for you or works for me. So they are going to share some of their experiences, like what they were struggling with before. So first I called Jeannie out because I know she has little limited time. And if you're ready, Jeannie, I ask you to, there, I think now you're not muted. So if you could share, yeah, a little bit of what your challenges were before, and how did those change, like working through these and doing the steps and the changes, and was it easy, and like what transformation that you experienced and what struggles you had before and what were the results? We would be happy to hear.
Okay, so my challenge before I came to the program was I wanted to recreate Jeannie into how I wanted to show up and live my life with a healthier body and mind. So I mean, all the things that were Jeannie, where she'd wake up and think these things that weren't serving a good purpose for me, or not eating the things that were going to give me a healthy body, even though I was, practicing mindfulness and walking, hiking up hills and things and trying to get healthy. I wasn't, it wasn't congruent. I wanted the whole package. I wanted to be in integrity with this purpose of having a life that was in sync with each other. So I needed to create healthy healing habits for that purpose, to have a healthier body and mind. And my biggest struggle with creating the healthy food habits was a big struggle. And I had challenges with blood sugar ups and downs and constant hunger that sabotaged any efforts I made in the past. And I just, had a strong intention, and Sophie's very supportive and makes it very simple. This is like what's healthy for us, and this is what, is a good choice. And I just said, okay, I can't keep putting this off. I can't keep saying tomorrow I'll start, or make excuses, my old thought limiting beliefs that, I have to cook for my companion and he doesn't want to eat that way, so it's never going to work. And I used to do it when I was younger, but, I don't know if I could do it again. I'll start tomorrow. I had to work with all those limiting beliefs. And Sophie gives you tools to do that, which kind of dovetail with, my practice in mindfulness. But my practice in mindfulness, I've been doing it for 4 years. It didn't move me all the way I needed to go. It had limits that needed to be dealt with. And working in this program helped open up the space to move me through the limits. And that was really beautiful. It was, it was like, wow. So also, I gave up sugar, I gave up gluten, I gave up dairy. And it wasn't hard because I had this motivation, this intentional motivation, and the energetics that were being taught helped me do that. And within a week or two, I just, lost all this. I didn't have pain in my body anymore. And I'm in my 70s. And I want to be healthy for as long as I live, however long that is. I want to be strong. I live in the country, and I work with the wood and go for very long walks up hills. And I want to be able to do that for a long time. And that was just amazing. I lived on Advil, and I haven't had Advil since the second week of this program.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Thank you.
No more in my life.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And that just kept me going. And I've had little setbacks because, sugar is very sneaky and it tries to get in your life. But, it's just like I'm going, hey, wait a minute, you're not my friend.
Did you feel that, yeah, we went through enough tools that you feel like, or felt like, you don't fully have to give those up? I mean, the unhealthy versions, yes, but we have enough substitutions to still.
No. I love the substitutions. I really want to make the chocolate, the nut chocolate thing that you made with Mira the other day.
Oh.
I'm like, oh yes, I want to try that. And I want to try a lot of things. And that's one of the things I loved about the program, was that you actually got in there and when you cooked things and you made nut milk. And that's something I've wanted to do, for many, many years in my life. I learned about nut milk, when I was like 50 years ago or 40 some odd years ago. And I've always wanted to make it, but it always kind of scared me. Oh, I can never do that. Which is kind of silly. It's a limiting belief that has no basis in reality. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to do all these things. And I found other things. I dried mangoes and dates and rice cakes with almond butter and some honey, as my dessert. Or, make myself a coffee substitute with a little bit of honey, and that's like dessert. So there's plenty of good things to eat, and it was wonderful that way. But what's amazing was just the way that you present everything in kind of very understandable language. It's not dense and and with lots of big words and things that kind of trip you up. It's very understandable, and it's the same concepts that because I was taking like two or three classes at the same time. They just all fell at the same time, which was really interesting, but it was fun. But one of them really worked on a lot of the same things you were, but they were very dense and intellectual presentations, which were wonderful also. But I said, my goodness, Sophia's doing the same thing. She's teaching the same thing, and she's teaching it, in very understandable, down to earth, very earthy. And it was really nice. It was very beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm working on transforming my existence, and I have to keep doing this. And the energetics were incredible. I didn't get to always do them all. And that's what I'm saying. There's so much more to do. It's the biggest challenge was to find enough time to do all the things that you're teaching during the course. So it's a life project.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that you have the Facebook page and you're
available.
It's
everybody can do that on their own pace too. So now except like when we do the life coaching parts. Yeah. Did you what did you
give people everything they need to know? You give people everything they need to know to leap into a new life experience, so
awesome.
It was beautiful. I really
And what do you see
it.
How, just a very short quick question again, like what did you feel or see, experience that it affects the way it affects the other parts of your life, like besides reducing the pain and making those like the lifestyle changes, how, like what doors opened up regarding perspective, well, not perspective, purpose or potentials, or the big vision that how help you with that?
The energetic work. I think the food is wonderful because I lost weight and things like that. It's just and the pain went away, so that that was beautiful. It opened up a whole more active life, which I feel more alive and strong. So that was beautiful. But the energetics, and like I say, they're very powerful because I didn't get to play with all of them. But the ones that I did with, the tapping that you taught us, and I practiced that on my meditation one day, and it was just amazing. I mean, I was just working on my limiting beliefs, the one where you start on the top of your head and you go down the body tapping. Did that, for while I was doing my meditation, and I just kept going through, my limiting things I was telling myself, and then I reversed it into the positive. And when I would finish that, I was just like, wow, that was transformative. I'm able to speak a lot more freely. It like released a whole lot of ability for me to communicate, because I felt I was very locked inside myself. I mean, I could, if I was just with you one-to-one, we could chat, but to talk now live on Facebook while people are listening, I'd get very stilted. But so those are very beautiful,
that's one of
healing techniques.
Yeah, one of my work with one of the programs to help people not overcome necessarily just the visibility fears, but when you build enough confidence through that alignment, that's exactly what happens. But I didn't know that either. So thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
all right. So
okay, and then quickly, we're kind of running out of time, but Tom, if you have a few minutes to also jump in and just share a little bit your experience, what your main struggle or struggles were before and how did it change, if you had any questions or hesitation before you signed up, but then it's how it melted away and what changes and transformations you experienced.
My name is Tom. I'm 61. I'm older dad. Our kids are 13, 11, and 9, and they are pretty much the focus of my life. I'm retired from a 40-hour-a-week job and just have a part-time consulting practice. So I'm able to spend a lot of time with them. We've been homeschooling them from the beginning. And, my doctor asked me, I got a new doctor a few years back, and she asked me, what are my health goals? And my answer was, I want to be around for my kids' weddings and graduations. And so she suggested I read a book called How Not to Die, which I did. It's a kind of science-based medical book about how the 15 leading causes of death in America are related to eating meat and processed foods. So that knowledge has been part of my outlook. And so, I've had the attitude, well, let's cut out red meat, cut back on the other meats. And it's sort of an awareness, but not really a decision or an action. And I also participate in men's work. I'm in a circle with a group called the Mankind Project. And so I've been talking about my struggles with my relationship to food in that setting as well. And I just happened to stumble across an ad for Sophie's program here on Nextdoor. I'm recently moved to the Prunedale area from Santa Clara to get a little bit out into the country, some fresh air, room for the kids to run around. And we love it here. And so especially one of the things I especially love is having the space and opportunity to grow organic vegetables. And so it's sort of a convergence, a coalescence of many things. And it was just serendipity that I found this link to Sophie's program. And I thought, this is what I need. And what I mean is I needed a catalyst, something to really light my fire and really get me excited about doing right by what I know. And I'm kind of a evidence-based person. I work in the sciences, and I was a little bit skeptical because I had the sense that Sophie's program is not going to be, giving a lot of data and backing things up. But because I read a lot of other things, I can say that the information that Sophie has presented is substantiated by a lot of things published out there. And I won't say that for all parts, but with most things in life, you take what works for you. I took what worked for me out of this program, and it has really been helpful. So to be honest, what I needed is someone to hold my hand and really guide me through the hard steps. Where I broke down is on the self-discipline and caving to indulgences, sugars. And as it happens, while I was taking this program, I also had a diagnosis for a heart condition. Not terrible, didn't require surgery, but it did require restarting the heart. It's a little bit scary. And it actually wiped me out. It felt horrible for 3 days. And so now, in addition to, it just sort of redoubles my purpose. And it's, I also have been told to not leave out all caffeine and alcohol. So I'm, really just facing the music here, dropping gluten, meat, and processed foods, sugars, dairy, and I've had a hard time letting go of eggs because we just got the chicken thing set up. We've got our nice cage-free organic eggs going, but I do.
And we don't even eliminate the eggs. It's kind of a grayish area.
It wasn't one of your instructions, but I've read that elsewhere. And I do. Fortunately, I do not have high cholesterol, so that's good. But in any case, I still have the same vulnerabilities I've always had in terms of indulgences. But now when I do binge eating, it's like having 4 oranges instead of going for a box of cookies. So that's still not, I still need to keep things in balance in terms of sugars. But and I have the social challenge as well as like, well, what do we do on Thanksgiving? So And the answer is I cooked a lot of great vegetarian food, and did not partake in the meat or bread. So it's the course has been an eye opener for me. It was very helpful, and one of the things that was the most powerful for me is we did a fast, and I didn't know that I could do this. And that I think was transformative. And by really starting with a clean slate, so to say, and adding foods back one at a time, that was really powerful and really helped to show me what affects me. And the times that I have, slipped and had something to eat, I really notice how it feels in my body. And so, one of the places I fall down is, we go out and get some food, and the kids don't finish something, and it's like, oh, here, Daddy, do you want this? And well, the answer is yeah, I do. I really want that, but should I? Well, sometimes I make the wrong decision, and when I do that, I can tell my body is telling me right away that this is not the right thing to eat. So.
Now you're more sensitive to those messages.
And I really like Sophie's style. Like the other, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of our other classmate here.
Jeannie?
The other comment that was just made is that she keeps it simple. And so it's good, clear presentation, and the things that I was asked to do, I found it was easy to do. And I found compelled to do them. In other words, I found that I was given sufficient reason to go ahead and do this, make this rather significant change in how I conduct myself. So I'm pleased with the result, and particularly my energy level. And now that I've recovered from this cardio thing, I'm able to do exercise at a level and do work around the property. Cutting wood and building things and working with the animals. And I feel much better, and I feel more hopeful that I will be around for my kids' weddings and graduations. So thank you.
Glad to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I just wanted to add, though, that it is not a requirement to give up fully meat or anything in the program. I do share the suggestion, share the substitutions, I share the tool also how to do it if you do want to go for it. But if you're like a pure meat eater, there are ways to even keep that and keep it healthy and all that. And it's very true for all the other food groups as well. So don't get too offended by oh, I have to give up all of it. No, we find ways to.
Yeah, that was true also for the fasting. We were given a choice of how to fast. So it wasn't a matter of foregoing food altogether. If we wanted to try a smoothie fast, and I chose to forego it altogether because I wanted that challenge.
And you totally blew my mind.
In all cases, I was in choice, and so that's. I think Sophie recognizes the human nature part of things, and it's. I felt that everything I did was, it was my decision. So, all good.
Thank you. So yeah, lots of choices, and we always have the choice to be healthy in a way that it doesn't require a lot of sacrifice either. And so yeah, just gonna go through these quickly. So there are some side effects when you do this work and transformation. So it's not just, as I said, that you could reduce the inflammation and pain and discomfort and health issues and things like that, and getting your energy back, but also a side effect, which was, I think, true for every student that went through the program, lost weight or balance their weight out as well. And then you can be more resilient and protected from outside circumstances as well. And as I said, one of the big ones is you can be more present for your life and for your dreams, for your loved ones, for your children, and just to be very fulfilled in those areas as well. And being able to live a purposeful, fulfilled full potential life, that's also a side effect, and gain your confidence back and your power back, to maintain that as well, to took the leap and also maintain that. Then one of the other key elements, because a lot of people have the limiting belief that investing in your health, that it's a tough one. Now I can't afford that, or can't afford like doing anything, or just pay like more for food or anything. You don't even have to pay more for food. So we go through that as well. But the way you can save literally thousands of dollars with like medical bills, and even on medications and supplements and things that you are just really, so in the long run, it actually pays back really nicely. And with the other group that we work on, like creating more abundance, once you find the alignment and clearing out the blockages and the energetic blockages and all that, once you have more focus and more productivity, and more that, eliminating those limits and limiting beliefs and all that around that area, then you can create even more financial freedom, because then you're not going to struggle anyways anymore on the health level, like just trying to figure out what's wrong with you, because you're going to be more free, and then you have more energy and productivity and all that. So there's that. So it pays back there as well. And so, as I said, we have different ways, different programs. So I'm not really going to get into details about the programs, because it's individualized as well. So that's the gift, one of the gifts, and I'm going to throw the other one in the chat in the second, and also the link. So I'm offering just a call, and this is not like a sales call or anything, that you can ask any of the students. That this is not for me. It's just for the people who need the help, and they realize that, okay, now is the time for me to jump on something that's just an opportunity for them. And I cannot convince anybody anyways to, you need to do this, or you need to start this program, or that's whatever eating habit or anything, if they don't have that urgency, or they don't have that commitment. But if they do, this is just I just share different ways and different opportunities how I can support people on a deeper level and keep that hand holding, so they can stay accountable for themselves and for their dreams. So I put, hold on, I have to stop the sharing for that to be able to copy the link. So I put the link in the chat, and I'm also going to put the little other gift. Give me 1 second. That I promised here. So I have the link copied. So what's this? This is just a talk, just an opportunity to help you find what are the obstacles that are holding you back from fully living your potential and purpose. I'm going to copy this in the Facebook comments as well. And let me try to put the, see if it lets me, there you go. So, and for the registrant Zoom people, I'm sure it's called the cheat sheet. It's called the self-healthcare cheat sheet. Some of you may already have it from previous registrations, but this is a really great little summary that you can have printed out, and just a great reminder of every step that we talked through. So that's the notes written out for you, and the steps, and just good hints that to keep your mindset going on that. So I put that as well. So, and just inviting you for the call, just to me to help you get more clarity in what obstacles you might still having. What are the biggest issues that are holding you back from fully live your purpose and your life? I'm trying to put my picture back here. Oh, still not doing that. Oh, there you go. Never mind. It still doesn't let me put myself in big. Anyways, so we do it this way then. And so to be able to fully live your purpose, then what are the alignment blockages that you still might experience and you might feel? So I can help you get clarity on that, and also having lay out a path that, what are the steps that you might want you need to take to be able to overcome those. So I just help you connect with those and connect with the dots. And then if you do want further help and further support, then I can just share that, different options and different ways that how I can help you and support you on the journey. So that link is my scheduler. So this is called the alignment call, and this is about it's just say 30, but we go a little bit longer. It's usually like about 40 minutes or maybe a little bit longer a talk. And that's I just help you connect those dots for you and show you, connect you with what's possible and how you can potentially achieve that big purpose, and how you can find and live your purpose and find that abundance that you create for. So I had to create that, and not just for your health, but financially and for every part of your life. So if anyone don't have any questions, the link is there. I'm gonna put that in also. And anybody who's coming from through the Facebook group and checks in for a call, the free alignment gift call, I'm also going to send you guys that cheat sheet as well. So that's another little gift there. And we'll have the recording as well, at least for a period of time that people can rewatch it and everything. So if we are all good with questions and everything, thank you so much for being here today, for showing up for yourself, for taking the time and really put yourself into it, in your mind, put into it, and your heart in a way that, okay, now you're here, that you're making it happen, and you sat through that 2 hours that I tend to over deliver, that the guys didn't tell you. So that's that as well also. So, and reach out to me with any questions or anything. And I'm happy to jump on a call with you anytime to help you get clarity and provide support if you need with anything. So many blessings to all of you. If I haven't talked to you before the holidays, then I wish you happy holidays and Merry Christmas and everything. And next year, it is really the time for all of us to create that confidence and create that health that we've been craving for. So I'm here for you, and we'll keep in touch and we'll make that happen. So thank you so much for being here today, and send you all the blessings. Bye-bye.